Hello everybody, it's Lena, and in today's video we are building this one-story suburban family house that we are building in the world of Sequoia in The Sims 4, obviously. So we are building it on a 20 by 30 lot, and I feel like from the outside it looks fairly small. However, in reality, it's by no means a ginormous house, but it does have 4 bedrooms, and it fits a total of 5 Sims with the way that I personally decorated it. So I personally don't think that that makes it a small home necessarily. Like, that's a fairly sizable-ish family, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's very cute, and I just wanted to build something that was only 1 story and was kind of like a suburban-y, because I kind of realized that I don't really do 1-story homes very often at all. And I was just looking through my videos on my channel, and I just noticed that it's been many months since I last did it. And then I got to thinking, why don't I just do it more often? Like, why do I always make at least a 2nd story and sometimes a 3rd one? Like, why don't I just stick to 1 story? What's wrong with that? And I don't really know why I always aim for building another one, but I think it's just because I think that it adds some visual interest to the exterior of it. But now looking at this house, I don't think it looks like it's missing anything on the outside, and I think it looks perfectly fine. So I don't really know why I don't do 1-story homes more often. And I've also heard from a pretty vast amount of gameplay-oriented simmers that they actually prefer to play in 1-story homes because it makes it a little bit more easy to keep track of all of your different sims when you don't have to keep paging up and down to see the different stories and whatnot. So, I mean, that's definitely a plus. So I'm not really sure why I don't build 1-story homes more often, but we've got one today. So for all of you guys who prefer to play in those types of houses, here's one for you if you want this one. I don't know. But yeah, I hope you like this house. I think it's very cute. It's just very basic suburban, which also is not really a thing that I've done in a while, so I wanted to do something like that for today's video. That was just kind of the mood and the vibe I was feeling when I started building this house, and I think it turned out really cute. So I hope you all agree, I hope you like it, and I hope you want to play with it or something. I don't know. You can obviously download it on my gallery page. My ID on there is LacyLena. And I think that I have quite a few points that I want to hit in this voiceover, so I'm gonna try to get to all of them. However, the first one is that I'm pretty sure I need to give an apology for something. I need to apologize to this world of Sequoia, because last year when we got the Growing Together expansion pack in, I believe, March, so a little bit over a year ago, that's where this world came from. I was very critical of this world, and I said that it was so boring and uninteresting, and it just looked so much like a lot of the other worlds that we have. It's very similar to Willow Creek and Newcrest and those other kind of bland worlds. And I still feel that way. I still do think that this is a boring world, and it's not very unique compared to a lot of the other cool worlds that we have that don't really look exactly like all of the other ones. I do think this is a boring world, so I stand by that part. But I think that I kind of was a little bit too critical of it I was about to say a few years ago, but around a year ago, and also up until maybe a few months ago. Yeah, I don't know, I was just very vocal about my hatred for this world. But nowadays I must admit that I have come around to it a little bit, and also I've realized that I actually gravitate towards this world fairly often, which I never thought I was gonna do, but I actually do. So that's quite interesting, and I do enjoy playing here because a lot of the lots are very pretty, and this lot has very good lighting, and it's just a very basic home, so it fits a suburban home like this one perfectly. And then there's that beautiful waterfront lot, whatever, that I built on somewhat frequently. I love that one. It's gorgeous, and it has great lighting, so it's just a perfect lot. And yeah, basically I just want to apologize to this world for being so harsh about it last year and up until maybe a few months ago, because I don't think it's as useless as I made it out to be in the beginning. So I'm sorry. I don't know. We have so many worlds in this game at this point. Now 10 years into the life of it, I don't even remember how many we have, like around 20 maybe? I don't know. I that might be completely off, but I think it's around 20 at this point. And for some reason, I gravitate towards this world fairly often. Like many, well, not many, but like quite a few of my most recent videos have been done in this world. And somewhat frequently when I just go into my game to experiment with a build and do builds and stuff that never necessarily really sees the light of day, I do it in this world. So I do gravitate towards it more frequently than I ever thought I would. And I feel like that says a lot because as I said, we do have quite a lot of worlds in this game. And this is probably one of the worlds that I built in like just the most. It's probably in the top 5 or something, which is crazy to me. But yeah, again, I am sorry for slandering it, although I do still think it's pretty boring and it's not the most interesting world ever. It's just kind of like bland, which is perfect sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I prefer to build here compared to like Willow Creek for some reason. I never built there. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. Anyway though, as I said, I do have a lot of points that I want to hit in this voiceover, so I gotta get going, okay? We don't have all day. So the second thing is that this house, the downside to it, as I said, it does have 4 bedrooms and it fits a total of 5 Sims with the way that I decorated it, but it only has 1 bathroom, which is really not like the most ideal situation in the Sims 4 because sometimes it's just kind of annoying when you have 5 whole Sims and like multiple of them want to take a shower and pee and whatnot. Like it's annoying for them to have to wait for another Sim to get out and whatnot. So it's not like the most practical thing ever, although I do think it's pretty realistic. Like I know that, well, I've heard at least and I've seen in videos that apparently a lot of American homes and just like houses in North America is what I'm talking about, not just the US, have quite a lot of bathrooms per bedroom, but it's kind of like completely different here in Europe. And I know that at least in my country we don't really have that many bathrooms in a home that often, at least. And I've also seen and heard that from other European countries. So to have a house with 4 bedrooms and 1 bathroom is not uncommon here, but I have a feeling that it might be in North America. But yeah, anyway, to me this is very realistic. It's just not really the most practical thing in The Sims 4, nor is it the most practical thing in real life, because it's kind of annoying. Like in my house, I think we technically have 4 bedrooms. We don't anymore because we tore down a wall, so it's only 3 bedrooms now. But originally this house had 4 bedrooms and we only have 1 bathroom, so it's definitely what my situation is. And I know that a lot of my family members always like had to coordinate like when everybody goes to the bathroom in the mornings, like on weekdays, so everyone could get to do that before having to go to work and school and whatnot. And that was kind of like a struggle for them, but I was not really a part of that because my schedule was like different than theirs, so it hasn't really been a problem for me. Yeah, anyway, but yeah. I just wanted to mention that it's probably not the most ideal thing ever, but it's kind of realistic. Yeah. But the biggest room in this house is the parents' bedroom, which of course fits 2 Sims, and then there's a room for a teenage Sim, one for a kid-sized Sim, and 1 bedroom for a toddler. So that is how all of these 5 Sims into these different bedrooms. Yeah, and we're gonna be doing them a little bit later on in the video, I guess. And the house is not really like the most big thing ever, and the like dining room, kitchen, living room is all just like in one pretty small room, like in one common room, which I think is fairly decent. Like that's not a problem. And they don't necessarily have a proper dining table, but they do have counters, things like bar counters that they can sit on or at and eat their dinner at and breakfast and whatnot. So that's fine. They don't get to complain, okay? This is a small home. They can't have everything. Anyway, so yeah, that's just like the house, and I decorated it in a very like cozy way, I would say, like very family-esque and just very like comfy and just a nice way for a family to have their home. It's very just cozy, and I like that. So I think it's nice, but it's not like beautiful at all because I don't think that's realistic at all for a family that have small children, you know? Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that's realistic, but that's kind of like the house. I don't really think I have much else to say about it. So I hope you guys are all having a good day, and I hope that things are going well in your life at the moment. So in my life, what's happening right now is that I got home from a trip the other day, a couple of days ago by now, and as I talked about in my last video, this was kind of like a big deal for me, this vacation, because this was my first time ever traveling by myself, like internationally and by flight. So I flew all alone for the first time, and that was very fun, and I had like a really like smooth trip over to the place that I was staying at in France, and that was really cool and perfect, and everything just like it went smoothly and no problems occurred, so that was really great. And I just had a really good vacation. I didn't do anything super major at all. I mainly just relaxed and hung out and just explored the place, went for a lot of very long walks. I walked over 20,000 steps almost every day, which is kind of wild in my opinion. So yeah, anyway, that was really fun, and I had a good time, and I just kind of, you know, learned how to be in a different country by myself, and that was like kind of a little bit scary initially because it was like a very populated place and I was pretty scared of getting robbed or something. So I think for the first day I was pretty like on edge, but then after like the first 24 hours I kind of just calmed down and everything was fine, and I was really not that anxious for the entire trip, so that was very cool, and I just had a good time. I got some pretty cheap plane tickets, and I also got a like pretty affordable place to stay, which was a like tiny studio apartment. And I wanted to get a real apartment because I like to just like be able to cook a little bit, and I like to just have a fridge where I can store some food so I don't have to go out and eat every single day, like 3 times a day. That's a lot for me. So it's also like really nice to have just a freezer. You can buy something that can go in the freezer so you're not like super limited. So I rented a very small and not super expensive apartment, and on the website that I like rented it on, it was not like Airbnb, although I do think that they rent them out on there as well, but they have like I think 3 or 4 like categories, whereas one of them was like the budget one, and then like a regular, and then, you know, upper scale and whatnot. Like they just had quite a few different price ranges, and I of course just got the budget kind of apartment, just a very small little place that I did not pay a lot of money for, and that was fine. And then I walked into the place and it looked exactly the way that it looked on the pictures on the website, so I was very, you know, pleasantly surprised, I guess, or I was pleased by that. I was like, yes, I did not get scammed, this is great. All of the kitchen appliances were old, the windows were hard to open, the bed was really bad, that kind of stuff, but that's like what you expect from a budget apartment, right? Like that's no big deal. However, what I did not expect was for this apartment to not be like properly cleaned, because like it's supposed to be that way, right? But then I went into the bathroom and I kind of needed to pee at this point because I had not peed since the like early morning when I was back home in my home country. And then I opened the toilet lid, and I saw that on the toilet seats there were like a bunch of little black curly hairs. So they were obviously pubes, right? And I was just like absolutely dumbfounded when I saw that, and I didn't really know how to react to it. So I think that my reaction was just to like close the lid, and then I went outside, like out of my apartment, and I went down because I needed to go get some groceries and some like necessities so I could survive and whatnot. So I just like completely ignored that, even though I needed to pee. But I didn't do that. I did not have the energy to deal with all of that at that point because I was just so tired. I had been traveling all day and that was just a lot. So I couldn't do that right then and there. So a few hours later I came back and I was like, what on earth do I do about this? But then I remembered that in my suitcase, why am I dumb? I had these like disinfective wipes, so I just took one of those and I wiped down the toilet seat, and then by doing that I knew that it was clean and all of the pubes were gone, so it was like fine. But it was just kind of like weird because that incident, it just sort of made me doubt the cleanliness of the rest of the apartment, and it just kind of made me doubt how clean the things I can't see are, like the non-obvious things are. So yeah, I don't know, that made me feel a little bit like weirded out for a second, but obviously I got it all fixed and sorted out. And then as the days went on in this little apartment, I started to feel very at home, so I was very like pleased with the place, and it was not a bad thing at all. That was just like the only pretty weird and uncomfortable experience that I had there, but I felt very safe in it because it was a like pretty safe street, and also the apartment had double locks, so I felt like very safe in there. And that was a thing that I had been kind of concerned about before going on this vacation. Like I needed to feel safe in my space, of course, because I am a young woman traveling alone, so that's pretty vital, obviously. And I felt kind of like a huge target. But everything was good. It was just like a vastly different experience, you know, traveling all alone as opposed to traveling with a bunch of other people or like one other person, anything like that. So it was different, definitely, but I had a really, really good time, and I feel like I learned a lot. And I think that another reason why I kind of like felt super on edge and like a huge target the first day that I was there was because right when I got there, like right after the toilet incident, when I had just went out to the city to go like get my stuff, I had a very unfortunate experience. Somebody did something, and I don't have time to tell the story right now because it's like pretty elaborate, and I feel like I need to tell a lot of, you know, backstory and whatnot and it's whatever about it, so I can't do that right now. But a pretty like horrible-ish thing happened, and it just made me feel so unwelcome and whatnot. So yeah, that was pretty terrible, and it just made me feel very bad that day, and I was not having a good time right there. But anyway, so the first day was kind of rough, but then things got a lot better, and I had a good time for the remainder of my vacation. However, the trip home was also kind of a struggle because my plane was supposed to take off at 1:30. However, it got delayed by around like an hour and 20 minutes, so I did not fly until around 2:50. And so I also landed like quite a lot later than I was supposed to, which was kind of like annoying because my mom had planned to like come pick me up at the airport, which was so nice of her, but then like that also like messed up her schedule and everything like that. And then when I got to Copenhagen airport, I was really, really exhausted because I ended up being at the other airport for like 4 hours because there was that huge delay, and I just like went out there early because I didn't really know what else to do. So yeah, I was there for a very long time, and it was kind of just sad. So I was really exhausted when I got back to my airport. So I just like quickly went down to the baggage claim part. Is that what it's called? Like the place where you pick up your luggage. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. And in Copenhagen airport, I think there are 8 or 9 different belts, and my luggage was supposed to be on belt number 6. So I stood right there along with all of the other people from my plane, and I waited for my suitcase. And like after about 15 minutes, I started to get kind of concerned because I saw that most of the people from my plane were leaving, and I didn't really recognize any of the faces anymore. And I just like saw that like luggage from other planes was starting to appear on my belt, and I was like, what the heck, like where's my suitcase? This is so weird, right? So I was very concerned. I was so scared that my suitcase had gotten lost somewhere, but like I knew it was on the plane because sitting in the plane at the other airport before taking off, I saw my suitcase out of the window, so I knew it was there. And I was like so confused about that, so I went over to the baggage thing where you can like, you know, talk to the people and ask whatever is going on with your suitcase. And then I asked them, and she checked the system, and she said that my suitcase was supposed to be here at Copenhagen airport. And I was like, okay, but like I've been waiting for a very long time, and at this point it had been like 40 minutes before I like went over to the people and asked them, you know. So I was like, this is so weird. And I was also like kind of pissed off because before I went over to speak to these people, I overheard that some people at the belt I was at belt number 6, were saying that they were so surprised by how fast their suitcase got to the belt. And that really pissed me off because I'd been waiting there for 40 minutes and my suitcase was not there, okay? That was annoying. So I was like, oh my god, how dare you, you know, don't rub it in my face. So I was just annoyed about that. So the woman at the ASCII thing, what? I don't know, the woman that I talked to, she told me that I should just like go back because it should like appear at some point. I was like, okay, whatever, like I'm gonna end up being here for like an hour more maybe, I don't know. It was just like really annoying. But then I went back, and on my way over to this thing to ask these people, I like walked through the entire baggage claim place, and I looked at all of the belts just to see if my suitcase was on any of these belts, and it was not. But then I went back and I looked at all of them again, and then after my belt, like at belt number 7, I had walked past like 5 and 4 and all of those belts, and then I saw that my suitcase was there, but like it was not there before I went to talk to this woman. So it had like appeared in the meantime when I was gone for like 5 minutes, right? So I was like, oh my god, how dare you? So for some reason my suitcase was obviously supposed to be on belt number 6, but it had appeared on belt number 7. And then I picked it up off the belt, of course, and immediately when I got it off, it just fell over. My suitcase just like flopped over. I was like, what the heck? And then I noticed that one of the wheels on it were missing. So now I have a 3-wheeled suitcase. What the heck? That was so annoying. And it's like super scratched up and completely broken. Like it's beyond use. You cannot use it anymore. It's completely broken. So that was really annoying, and I was talking to my mom about this because I had like her on the phone most of the time, and yeah, we talked about it a lot, and she said that her theory is that the suitcase probably fell off of one of those trailers that they drive these suitcases in at the airport, and then like another trailer thing had like seen that the suitcase had fallen off, and they had picked it up, and then it ended up at the 7th belt that way, maybe. And that's also why it lost its wheel and was completely broken and super scratched up, because it had like taken this fall off of the thing. So yeah, now I'm the proud owner of a broken 3-wheeled suitcase. So thank you, airport. Really appreciate that. It was just like such a bad day, or not like bad necessarily, I was just so exhausted, and it was so hectic because I felt like everything that could go wrong had gone wrong that day. So it was just kind of annoying, and I don't know, I was just kind of pissed off, but it was okay. And all in all, as I said, I had a really good vacation, and this is definitely just like the first of many solo trips that I will be taking. I'm very excited to travel even more by myself in the future, and I hope that I get to do that very soon again. So yay, very good, very positive, definitely. But yeah, also my birthday is coming up, so maybe I should ask for a new suitcase. That could be kind of a good wish, right? I feel like that's a pretty good thing to ask for your birthday. I could have like a very cute, fun suitcase. That would be really cool, because the one that's now broken was just like boring and light blue grayish, like not fun at all. So I might want to get like a really cool, interesting, fun one that I can just bring around with me on vacations. That would be so fun. Yeah. I should do that. Anyway though, I am running out of time, so I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you aren't subscribed already and you enjoy my content. I would really appreciate it. And of course, you can download this house on my gallery page. My ID on there is just LacyLena, exactly like my YouTube channel. But besides all of that, I hope you're having an amazing day, and then I cannot wait to see you all in my next video that I will be posting in just a few days. So bye everybody.